Our Lady prophesied that there would be sacrilege towards the Holy Eucharist. The sacrament of matrimony would be attacked and mocked, making sins of the flesh the norm. Those who defend the church from error will be persecuted. But in the end, the church would triumph and be more glorious than ever before. About 400 years ago, Our Lady appeared to Sister Mariana Torres and prophesied about today's turbulent times. What else did Our Lady say? Stay tuned to find out more. Hello and welcome to America Needs Fatima. I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and be sure to hit subscribe and to click the notification bell to never miss out on another story of Mary. From February 2nd, 1594 until February 2nd, 1634, the Conceptionist nun, Mother Mariana de Jesus Torres, had received apparitions from Our Lady in Quito, Ecuador. First, bit of a background on Sister Mariana and the convent in Quito of Conceptionist nuns. Mariana Francisca was born in Spain in 1563 to very fervent Catholics. Mariana's life seems to have an air of disposition with divine providence. As a beautiful child, her devotion to Jesus increased as she spent hours in adoration in front of the Blessed Sacrament. And for this devotion, at age 9, made her first communion. During that first meeting is a dream Jesus gave her a ring with St. Joseph and Mary standing as sponsors to this event, of which she would become a bride of Christ later in life. An engagement. What an incredible event. Mary even showed her what order she would be a member of, the Conceptionist, which would establish this new institute in the capital of Ecuador, in Quito, of which her aunt, Mother Maria of Jesus Taboada, would collect her and found the order in the Americas. After coming to the Americas and settling in Quito, Sister Mariana devoted to a prayerful life until her vows. Such an ecstatic moment to witness. In fact, when she said her vows before her aunt, Jesus showed and presented her his cross and showed all those temptations and spirits which sought for our attention that she would also undergo for his sake. Though temptations of impurity were great, she held on to chastity because it is a particularly difficult virtue. Her life in the order was one of penance and suffering. Get used to those two items of the spiritual life. That is how you grow in virtue through the penance and abstaining from her appetites. Even she was confirmed dead at one point. Then came before God, and God gave her the option of 2 crowns. One for eternal reward, and the other crown of lilies mixed with thorns. She chose to return to earth and continue to suffer. On September 17, 1588, Mother Mariana, deep in fervent prayer, was rewarded with the stigmata, the wounds of Christ, just as St. Francis, the patron of the order, had received. She suffered and got really sick, but they elected her to be the superior at only 30 years old. Now we come to the first apparition of Our Lady of Good Success. On February 2nd, 1594, Sister Mariana heard a voice and saw a beautiful lady in light, with Jesus in her left arm and a golden crozier in her right. She tells her that she is Mary of good success and Queen of heaven and earth. She came down to Mariana to still her heart. She showed her that God is pleased with the prayers and acts of penance that she has done, of which the devil hates both things. Mary even placed the infant Jesus into Mariana's arms, and in that action, she got all the strength for what was to come her way. During these apparitions, and there were many, the Blessed Virgin prophesied many things we see or have seen to occur in the 20th and 21st centuries. Mary even came in isolation to Mother Mariana to speak of a truly devout ruler of Ecuador that would consecrate the nation to Jesus' Sacred Heart, which happened. And she speaks on Freemasons, which Mary rightly called an accursed sect that sought to take over governments far and wide, would also cause great persecutions. But in each apparition, Mary spoke of hope of those who stand up in righteousness and their faith to defend the church. Then Mary asked for a statue to be created as exactly as Mariana had seen her. In fact, Mary asked to be measured exactly, and there was a cord around the Mother of God's waist, and Mary held it and Mariana measured her exactly. Even Mariana was unsure of this apparition's validity. I think after that, we would all be in a state of wonder and awe. Many times, Mother Mariana had suffered attacks from the devil, even imprisonment, and she saw demons and sought exorcisms. For the devil hates those who have a devotion to his downfall. Mary, Queen of the Angels. More on her life and experiences in a series on Sister Mariana in the future. It wasn't until Mary's persistence in 1610 to get the statue made by a holy and devout man so joyful to take on this project. On January 16th, 1611, the image arrived at the convent, made by angelic hands perfecting the sculptor's art. Of course, it was finished by the Holy Trinity, archangels, St. Francis, and finally Mary herself stepped into the statue as rays of sun brought it to life. Then, on February 2nd, 1634, Mary came to Mother Mariana about her death that would take place 11 months later. And on January 16th, 1635, she entered eternal life. Mary's prophecies about the 20th century are incredibly accurate. From the papal infallibility on the Immaculate Conception and the passions that would send the world into corruption, as the devil would continue to use the Masons to be sure of his success. The lessening of the sacraments would be a means to destroy the authority of the church. Mary spoke of sacrilege to the Eucharist and times which people would die without last rites. And the sacrament of matrimony would also be attacked and mocked, making sins of the flesh the norm. Holy orders would diminish. We've all seen this. Bad times will be for those who should defend the church, but choose not to, and give full rein to the enemies of her. Moral corruption and unmatched lust and modesty will run among the faithful and unfaithful. But in the end, the church would be more faithful than ever before. Like in Fatima, penance and making acts of reparation for the sins against the church are pivotal to understanding the role we must play in order to restore the teachings of the church to the world. Mother Mariana's body is incorrupt as well. So let's heed these warnings, shall we? Now, I want to tell you about a campaign of roses America Needs Fatima is running right now that you can take part in. We will be traveling to Mexico in February, and on the feast day of Saints Francisco and Jacinta of Fatima, on February 20th, we will make a huge offering of roses to Our Lady of Guadalupe in reparation for the sins of abortion in the United States, beseeching her for the end of this atrocity. Click on the link below and join the rose offering and send your own rose to Our Lady of Guadalupe. I have. Write your personal intentions, which we will print and take to offer to Our Lady of Guadalupe. We will also light in your name 48 votive candles in reparation for each year of the legalization of abortion since 1973, Roe v. Wade. The link is below in the description box, and I urge you to take action now. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. See you next time.